Hey guys, I'm just going to jump right in today, and I've already set up the camera here. So this is a Platinum 2 2v2 game, and we're going to be analyzing the rotations here, because I've had this request quite a bit to look at 2's rotations instead of 3's. Now, as I start the gameplay, the first thing I want to mention though is that the reason I always cover 3's is because that is a lot more complicated. 2's rotations at the highest level should look kind of like 2 1v1s. Where the main thing to know is when to take over for your teammate. And I know that a lot of you guys do struggle with that. And so today we're going to be seeing when the plat players should be switching off who takes the ball. So what I see here is that, where did they go? Shanak hits the ball here. He hits it forward. And it looks like Pulsefire didn't quite know what to do with the ball here. And so what I would say is that these players need to be watching each other. So first, let's quickly hop back to Pulsefire's view, and we'll see that he goes for the ball here. His teammate goes. This is correct. And now one thing that he does is flips forward towards the ball. And this is actually something that I would say don't do when you're in your games, is if there's a ball that the opponent could possibly be closer than you, don't flip towards it to try to get to it quicker, because you commit for it. You immediately are stuck in the flip until now. As you can see, he lands, and Liquor did get to it first, and he hits it to the side, and so now this player goes shooting past and he turns around. So I highly recommend flipping to the ball, but when it's in your control already, or when it's a complete 50 ball that nobody has possession over. But a lot of Rocket League is estimating distances. It's estimating how close the opponent is to the ball, it's estimating how close your teammate is. And so when I was saying that 2v2s is basically 2 small 1v1s, that's a huge part of it, is who is closer on your team? Who is closer to the ball? And so in this moment, before the flip actually comes out here, an interesting thing is that Shanak looks like he's kind of tilting towards the ball. So that's something to keep in mind there. But then he's also closer. So this player here, although it seems like Shanak did just hit it, obviously it's my turn on the ball, he has to do those estimations, and he has to add those two things together. And honestly, if this was me, I'm not sure I would just have dived in here, even if I hadn't flipped. I'm not sure I would have just assumed this was my ball. I actually might have turned around to Shadow as my teammate challenges this, and the result could go towards me. Instead, he fully commits, Shanak is coming towards the ball, and now Shanak does a really weird power slide here. A thing for 2s is that, and 3s, pretty much every mode in this game, is to keep your momentum. So one thing that you never ever see Grand Champions and Pros do is just a power slide 360 or a power slide 180, because that loses all your forward momentum. Instead, you'll want to do a big loop around so that you have speed coming towards the ball. So something like this, he's lost all his speed, he's backing up, and now he's trying to go for it, and notice how he got absolutely nothing on that ball. Now his flip was a little mistimed, but this power slide, he's reversing now. The moment he knows he can go for the ball, he's trying to boost from a negative acceleration here. So he's trying to add to his speed here. And actually, let's quickly see. Yeah, so he has 60 something boost here. By the time he does this spin, and now he's ready to go for the ball, he's at 20 by the time he hits the ball. So just things to keep in mind. If he had done a different rotation there, let's actually quickly look at that from above, so I can give you guys the actual correct rotation I've done here. So Shanak hits it, he starts to rotate back. Oh yeah, so if he had just come around this way, and let's hold the camera steady. If he had just come around this way and curved back up towards the field, he can even collect that boost pad there, and then the central boost pad here as he's coming back towards the ball. And the play might adapt, so that might not be the best thing. And what might end up happening is, as he collects this boost pad over here, he might see that he should go in a straight line down the field to meet the ball in the corner instead. But at the moment, just spinning in midfield, not collecting a single boost pad, is the wrong decision. Let's actually go over to the blue team here. I wanted to look at Brett because he, oops, there we go. He follows the ball correctly until this moment. So one big thing to remember, and I know it's not always the case at lower levels, a lot of what happens below Platinum is that your teammate, when they hit the ball once, their turn is done because they just simply can't follow it. But as a GC here, I assume that Flicker is popping the ball up here to go for an air dribble of some sort. So I could never ever see myself jumping here with him as if he wasn't going to jump for that. And especially, this is a big difference between the levels, is the reaction time. What I like to say is, when you're on the field, you're not just reacting to what's going on and then doing the thing. So like, he's not seeing that, or I would not be seeing like, oh, Flicker jumped, now I shouldn't jump. Instead, I would have made my guess and my prediction early. So I'd be, okay, Flicker hit this. He's now driving along the line that the ball is going in. He's not boosting, and I doubt he's on 0, so he's likely holding his boost for when he jumps. And so those little clues allow me to know that Flicker, or Licker, as I keep not calling him, he is going to go for this ball. So obviously it's not mine. This player, on the other hand, isn't looking at his teammate anymore. He sees the trajectory of the ball and he's locked in. He's focused only on the ball, and when his teammate does jump, his reaction time isn't fast enough to pull himself off of it. Notice how long Licker has been in the air before this player jumps. Now he's jumping. Licker has already hit the ball. That is unfathomable at a GC level. And even Champion, we don't jump for these kind of things because we're looking at so many different things, and our reaction time is a little bit quicker than this, even if we weren't paying attention to our teammate. So he does a terrible move here. He jumps to where the ball was a good few seconds ago, stops boosting the moment he knows it's too late, but this should be an easy goal for Shanak. However, as we covered a second before, he had done a weird power slide. He doesn't have any boost here, and he mistimes the hit, going completely around the ball and missing the very open net. So we'll play that one more time and then we'll move on. It looks like, actually, to quickly cover a last bit here, it looks like he had to jump over his misplaced teammate. So the flip had committed this player here, and instead of rotating around properly, which, as I hope you guys know, is away from ball side, he turns in towards the field and he just starts, he does another flip to commit him. He just goes straight down the middle, right where the ball is, right where his teammate needs to be, so the teammate has to leap over him and then misses. So the correct place to be at the moment for Pulse Fire would be to, let's say he does his flip here, it's to just rotate out. It's to go around like this and collect that boost and be right there to be behind his teammate. Instead, he rotates in, and this puts him right in the path of his teammate. Oh, even worse. He tries reversing. Let's just sit here for a moment. This is Plat 2 in a nutshell. Oh, I always hate reverses. I mean, it looks like he did like a little half flip or something, so he did do this for a reason. Oh, that wasn't even a half flip. That was just a turnaround in midair. Make sure you guys practice your half flips. They are an incredibly easy trick to use. It just takes a little bit of speed with your hands. It's just tap the jump button as you tilt the joystick backwards, and then pretty much immediately push it forwards. It's a pretty simple movement in the grand scheme of Rocket League mechanics. It's not something crazy like a flip reset or a double tap. It is simply moving your car around. And as I always say, especially to Platinum players, learn how to control your car. You don't need to look like a grand champion, but if you can at least do a couple things with your car, you're already going to be above the competition. And then add that with some correct positioning, and boom, you've got a diamond or low champion player. It's that simple. But a lot of these players can't really hit the ball if their life depended on it. And they can't really control their car either. Alright, so we're going to go to the blue side here. Just see what they're seeing. Ooh, okay. This is a good clip to look at. And then I think we'll be done with the video. I don't want it to run too long. So I'm looking here at two players who are in a weird sort of standoff in this moment. So let's actually, to break down who's in the wrong here, we have to go a little farther back, and we have to see who the first man is and who the second man is, and then I'll tell you about what their positions mean. So, first man here is Licker, and you want to know why I can tell that? It's because Brett is behind him. However, there is a moment in the future in a couple seconds where we will actually know if that changes. And that will be if Liquor looks like he's low on boost, and so Brett decides to cut the ball off himself. But in the meantime, this is their positioning. And what it will look like is this, is Liquor going to that boost, curving around inward, and coming back towards the ball as Brett collects pads. Now, let's actually quickly just check how much boost they have before I look like a fool. Okay, Brett has 2, so it would be very interesting if he decides to cut in front of Liquor. Oh wait, no, that's Liquor. Brett has 90. Okay, so according to this, the best positioning would actually be for Brett to curve around and be first man on this ball. So let's actually see what happens in real time. He decides late. He goes the wrong direction. So what I meant by that is if you were Brett here, the moment you can tell that your teammate is on 0 boost is, there's a few clues you can get. First, where is he going? Okay, the obvious destination that his teammate has is straight for that boost, especially since he commits with a flip. And that's one thing you can note down, is when your teammates or your opponents commit with flips. Notice how often I point that out. It must be a pretty important thing if I keep saying it so often. So he commits, he clearly is low on boost because he's not really using any boost. And so Brett being on 90 immediately should know that, okay, this is my ball. My teammate is going out of position for boost, which means he's low, which means that me with my 90, my job as Brett is to block the ball or the player with the ball. So right about now, he should be turning. Brett should be turning now. He should be doing this shape right here and going towards the ball, as Flicker does this and goes behind him. Okay, instead what we get here is that Brett waits too long. Okay, he's making his calculations. He's unsure if he should go. He doesn't quite know the positioning perfectly. And now he decides to go, but it's too late. It's right when Liquor is ready to go as well. He's finally gotten his boost. He's ready to turn up field and do what I originally was saying that he could do, is that he gets the boost and goes as first man, and Brett falls in behind him. So now we have this really funny looking thing where both players turn to be first man at the same time. Now, what's bad about that is that the whole point of having a first man and a second man is, as I said, first man, your job is not to just hit the ball, and that's your only job, and if you miss the ball, it's your fault. And that's where plats get a little bit confused and start saving each other, is because they think, oh, my teammate missed the challenge, therefore because we got scored on, it was his fault. No, it takes 2 mistakes to get scored on in the game, and so the first man's job is to hit the ball, or as I said before, the player, because if you can hit the player who's shooting the ball is shot on target, and it should be an easy save for your teammate. If the player can stay behind the ball, he can 50 it in midair, and I know these are more advanced things, and oftentimes in Plat, if you just take a shot, it'll go in. But that is the basic level that is going on here, is that the first man, his job isn't to defeat the opponents right then. His job is to take away one element, and then his teammate takes away the other, and suddenly the threat is nulled. There is no more goal-scoring opportunity because the ball and the player have been taken away. Now, if the first man just dunks the opponent and takes away the ball, you've shut down the attack with your first man, and you are now on the attack with 2 players. If your first man only hits the player, the ball continues on target, and your teammate has to make the save. And they should make the save. And so, it's just interesting because you don't want 2 first men, because the first man's job isn't even supposed to just stop everything. So if you have 2 of them, you're not gonna stop it. And so they even have a little collision, I think, or Brett hits the brakes. Something happens here, but they are just I think the better thing is if both players, and you don't want either scenario, but it's if both players choose to be second man. That's slightly better because you're both going to make the save, which is, in Plat, this player isn't going to capitalize on 2 players pushed a little farther back trying to save the goal. Because he's just going to shoot it the way he was going to. In GC, we would hold the ball a little more and try to flick it around both players. But the really dangerous thing for the blue players is if they both charge towards the ball. Because one easy flick and it goes over them. There's nobody in the goal defending. And so at GC level, if you can position with one first man forward, the second man back on the goal line, it is so difficult to score on, because you have to get it past one person, and if you get it lightly past them, the other player collects. If you get it hard past them, the other player can make a crazy save. So it's just, you have to try to get it around one person without losing the ball yourself, and then get it around the second. And so they just, you know, they're both on the same position here. There's no first man, no second man. So it goes straight in. And let's see, it's not even the best flick. Like, let's see if this, even if two grand champions had committed here, let's see if this could have scored on them. No, I wouldn't say so, because, let's see, I think it's Jay Licker here. Yeah, this is still an easy save. Double jump, bang, you've hit the ball off target, and that's all you need to do. And just to quickly cover what I mean there, when the ball is shot on your net, you don't need to pull out some crazy save. My best saves are the ones where I basically do like a soccer goalie move, where you just tip the ball over the crossbar. You leap as high as you can, and your job is not to hit the ball back into the field as hard as you can. It's to simply just tip it upwards at a slight degree that's higher than the goal. So, like I said, if this player had just double jumped at the exact right moment, which is very possible with human reactions, it would just look like this. It would just pop it up over the crossbar. And so instead, we see him try to do a flip. He misses, goes in. And the score is 1-0. We made it 50 seconds into the replay, but sadly, I'm going to have to end this video now. If you guys like, I could link the replay down below, and you can check it out for yourself and see what I saw, look at it from different angles, all that kind of good stuff. I really hope you can take something out of this. I know I really addressed the Platinum players quite a lot. Let me know if I should do some champion level gameplay again. I did start my channel doing that, but I know that a lot of plats and diamonds need help, so I've been covering this quite a bit. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.